This is a lesser used but very powerful Neville technique. You don't realize it yet, but you are in full control of your 3D reality. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello to any new viewers. I'm a manifestation coach. My name's Alexa, and we are talking about a really great Neville Goddard technique. I wanted to try something a little different that I myself haven't spoken about too often or even used myself too often, but it's a really great technique. It's a way of implementing the wording of your affirmations in a powerful way, and I'm going to get into that very, very soon. So we're talking all about shifting your 3D reality, the great and best mindset that you can have using Neville Goddard's advice and principles. So that's what we're talking about today. So do thumbs up, subscribe to see more, turn on that notification bell so you can be one of the first people to see and interact with my new content, because I post very, very regularly. I'm going to get into the video right now, but on screen, I'm just going to pop all my coaching info, special offers I have, discounts, how to get extra support, get your questions about manifestation answered, because I offer a very inexpensive membership called LOA Coaching Darlings. So you can become one of the darlings and get the Q&A every single month with any manifestation questions you have. I personally answer them in a video, or you can work one-to-one, and everything is linked below. All the buttons and links and everything is right below the screen. So pause and take a look if that interests you, or after the video. And now let's start. So if you're kind of stuck in a limbo state, maybe you're wondering or worrying, what's going on? Why is my reality looking the same? Why am I not seeing that result come in yet? Chances are you are not persisting in the end state. So before I explain how to shift your reality, I want you guys to understand maybe what's been going on now, maybe things that you can relate to and understand better. This makes sense to me. This is probably where my subconscious is at. So the points I'm going to go through in this first section of the video will definitely help elucidate those kind of things. But if you are not persisting in the end result and the end state, meaning mentally living and experiencing your manifestation, I'm going to talk more about that in just a moment, don't worry. But if you haven't persisted in that, then how are you going to bring in the end state? If you don't mentally live in that predominantly, meaning the same way with your house, the majority of your time, the majority and most the highest number of hours spent in one location is in your home. Same as the end state with your mind. Living in your mind in the end result is what you need to do. So the majority of your thoughts should be in alignment with the end state when you think about the topic, your SP, your career, you know, the area of your life where you're manifesting this result. All your assumptions and thoughts that build into those assumptions should really cater towards and be geared towards the end result as if it's already here. So as I said, it basically means that you're mentally living as if this is already true. Your thoughts, the way you think, the way you feel, just internally what you experience and what you have taught yourself and built up practice and discipline to, you know, just realize and learn that thinking repetitively as if you already have it and saying, okay, it's the morning time, I'm going to affirm. Oh, it's the afternoon, let me do my visual. Oh, I just saw a couple on TV. Let me quickly tell myself about how me and SP have an amazing relationship. You build up these habits, it becomes automatic. And I am speaking from experience where I have built up a very disciplined mindset. I've been working on my mental diet even more because I normally relied on affirmations personally, but I've really seen the power of mental diet in my own reality. So I've been talking a lot more about that in videos. And essentially, you just want to live your internal reality, the way you speak to yourself, those inner conversations, the thoughts that you have throughout the day, as if your manifestation is already true in your life. You're literally imagining and pretending that you're in that reality. And the goal of that, what you're doing with that, is convincing yourself, not anybody else, not any of the circumstances, just convincing your own mind that you already believe this is yours. You already have an assumption, a belief, and it's just a basic objective fact in your reality, in your mind, that your manifestation is already yours. So if you keep checking the time, checking on circumstances or trying to find a change and a shift and, physically going out and logging onto social media or trying to create certain conversations, trying to bring your SP in, whatever it is that you might be doing, if you're keeping track of these things and keeping track of time, especially, that can be very triggering, then you are keeping that reality in place. Your current reality or the circumstances maybe you're currently in of not seeing the end result here yet, that's what you're keeping as true. And if you replay the old story in your mind, then you are also keeping that true as a fact, because you keep replaying the circumstances, questioning and going over and over. And that is kind of where, the definition of insanity comes in, doing the same thing, the exact same thing over and over and expecting a different result, whether it's positive or negative. If you expect something new to suddenly show up out of thin air without making any shifts with your actions, then it's just not going to happen. So the actions I'm talking about are repetition, affirmations, thinking positively, being self-aware of your thoughts. If you haven't been doing that, then why would your reality suddenly shift for no reason? Having said that, if you are persisting in terms of applying repetition, being as consistent as you can, maybe you've been spiraling or wavering, but you at least have been thinking positively and doing something with repetition, maybe just even some affirmations every single day, then it is shifting. Your reality is shifting. And you have to remind yourself of these principles of manifestation. What you think becomes true. Where your focus goes, your reality shifts to reflect that. If you convince your own subconscious mind of an assumption, that assumption gets reflected in your physical reality. So remember, if you are persisting, if you're putting in some kind of effort, doesn't need to be perfect or even, excellent yet. But even if you're at that point of feeling bad and saying, well, my 3D isn't showing what I want, it is still conforming, it is still shifting, something is happening, even if it's just the starting points of your own mind starting to think more positively. And whatever visible circumstances you have do not equate to being objective truth and objective reality. Just because it's what is in front of you and those are the visible circumstances in your reality and it's the same as it's been for 3 months or 6 months, that does not make it an objective truth or a fact, or that you have to let it control you and tell your mind, well, this is what I'm seeing and this is what I've been seeing the whole time. Therefore, manifesting is difficult for me. Manifesting takes really long. I'm really bad at this. SP isn't, conforming. Whatever it is, you don't need to take all of that on as a fact. You might be seeing it. That might be the circumstance externally, but you don't have to even put your attention to it. And sometimes it's just a case of the old story filtering out. So if you don't waver, if you just ride that wave, you keep affirming, keep persisting, those old story circumstances are filtering out. They will come to an end because your assumptions and beliefs and thoughts and the way you're literally going about your life do not align with that. They no longer align with the negative old story. But if you stop, you waver, to use the wave metaphor, you could also say, you're driving a car down, a clear road, just one straight path down to the end result. If you stop at every stop sign and you get out the car and you question, you waver and you say, oh my gosh, what does this mean? Should I just turn back? Should I stop? Does it mean I should give up? You're slowing everything down and you're not letting everything just unfold perfectly and quickly. So remember, there is always some form, even just a little bit, of behind the scenes movement and internal conforming literally within yourself. That is the most important starting point. So yes, maybe things aren't great and you're not in a good mindset right now, but it doesn't mean nothing's happened. So hold on to that. So the Neville Goddard advice that I wanted to share for today's video was the how did I technique. You guys may be familiar with this. It's kind of similar to I remember when. However, this is just you focusing on saying, oh, I have this outcome in my reality, I have this achievement in my reality. How did I actually get to that point? And you're talking to yourself, you're talking to your subconscious mind. So the example would be, how did I get to have this perfect relationship with SP? You can frame it in a manifestation context as well and say, how did I manifest SP so perfectly and quickly? Or how did I achieve this career goal? Or how did I achieve my dream career? How did I become so rich and wealthy? Whatever it is, phrase it in a way where it's you in the end result of your manifestation, and you're speaking to yourself, your subconscious mind, and you're putting it into a question format, an ask-formation, but you're literally speaking to your mind and saying, I've achieved this, and now I'm asking my mind, how did I do it? So essentially you're looking back on how you have achieved it up to this point. So it's kind of like revision. You're speaking to yourself by saying this has already been true, not I'm working towards it, I'm achieving it, it's about to happen. You're literally saying it's true now, and it has been for even just a couple hours, a couple days, a couple weeks, whatever. You can put it into whatever context and little storyline that you want in your mind, but just speak to yourself and say, wow, how did I actually manifest XYZ? How did I actually end up getting this result? So it tells your subconscious mind that this is in the past tense and it's already here. It's already happened. So the subconscious, as I've pointed out in past videos, doesn't understand logic, doesn't think for itself. It thinks whatever you feed it with repetition. So if you're saying, how did I now in the present moment already experience this result, already have this result, which means, like I said, even if it was just hours ago, it's something that has already happened. So you're framing it as a past tense achievement, and then your mind will think, oh yes, it is true now. I'm being told this reality is true right now, meaning it's already been accomplished. And then it has to physically form due to this assumption. When you build it up, when you feed into the end result being true in your mind, with this method, with your affirmations, with visualizing, with a mental diet, when you put all of the effort mentally that you're doing and you total it all up together, then it has to form into an assumption, which then has to form in your literal physical reality. It has to become a physical, emotional or tangible result in your actual reality, because you've told your mind and convinced your mind that this is just true. I've achieved it, and now I'm just wondering how I ended up achieving it. And as I highlighted, this is the ask-formation method. And because your mind is going to search for the answer, it doesn't like the unknown. You're giving your mind a question. It's going to seek that answer and say, oh yes, let me think of the reasons why this is true. You need to persist by consistently telling yourself that it's here now. The goal and the aim of what you do, no matter what format you use or how you want to manifest, is to persistently or consistently tell yourself and convince yourself that it's already here. It's already yours. And then when the opposite shows up, you ignore it and you persist. Ignore and persist. That can be your 3-word mantra if you do nothing else. If it's not what you want to see, ignore and persist. And what you physically see, if it's not the circumstances you want, if you're not seeing the shifts come in, that is subjective. Your assumption is building up off of what you tell yourself, what you tell your mind. So it is subjective. There is no objective reality of this means this person hates you. This means you're going to get a promotion. This means you're actually beautiful. None of that is objective. It's all about what you tell yourself, the assumption you create out of your subjective circumstances and temporary circumstances. So remind yourself that you're not changing other people. It doesn't matter what other people think or feel right now. What matters is what you think. You're convincing yourself and your own mind. And it's all about thinking from the desire, not of. You're not thinking of the desire, of having the desire even, you're thinking from it. So already having that end result, the desire being a noun in this case. So the desire of a relationship, a career, physical change, you're thinking from already being in that reality, because that puts you in the present tense moment. You're saying, this is my life, not it's far away from me. It's a, untouchable goal that's really far away. You're not putting it in a future oriented perspective. You're thinking from it right now. So that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that, found that useful and helpful. If you did, feel free to hype the video, which comes up for a lot of people right below the screen, right next to comments. If you enjoyed, and do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that notification bell for all my upcoming content, and I'll see you next time.